It works. Hello. I hope you can hear me. Can you type if you can hear me? I'm really not good with all of the like YouTube technology. Also, I hope that the lighting is okay. I've got a lamp on, but it's already getting dark here. But yeah. How are you doing? First time on one of our lives. Hello, nice to see you here. Welcome. I hope you'll have a good time here. I can hear you perfect. I can hear so well. Perfect. Thank you. Hi, Patsy. First of all, welcome to Witchfolk. Thank you so much. And then, hi, welcome to everyone. Esther, hi, how are you doing? Hello, love reading, please. I don't do readings at the moment, not on the live stream anyway, but thank you for thinking of me for doing that, I suppose. Joining in from New York City. Hello. What time is it in New York right now? Joining in from upstate New York. Hello. We've got two New Yorkers here, I suppose. I've been watching your videos for a while. Thank you. So glad you're back. Thank you. Me too. Yeah, I'm finally here. It's also I'm wearing a sweater. It's cold, you guys. It's so cold today already. You wouldn't even believe it. So let me just read through the messages. If you can tell I'm nervous, I'm sorry, by the way. I haven't done it live in so long, and I haven't done a live that actually works, where the internet is working. So I'm a little bit like, oh, this is exciting. Here from Nebraska. Hello to you to Nebraska, coming from Ireland. Hello, we've got such an international chat going over here. Congratulations on your move. Germany's beautiful. Sending you love and light. Thank you. Very sweet of you. Yes, I love it here. So we are in southern Bavaria. So this is where my family is basically from. So my mom and my entire mom's side of the family, so my entire like grandmother's side of the family, has always lived around Bavaria, around Munich specifically. So we're a little bit further from Munich right now than before, let's say, or not me before, but my family before. But yeah, we are quite close to the Austrian border, actually. Hi from Germany. Hello, Heidelberg, a little bit closer. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure actually how close. Heidelberg, I think, is actually relatively, like, it's quite a drive from here, I think. New York City, 1 in the afternoon. Oh, okay, that's good. So that's the thing. I always struggle with timing for doing any sort of live stream or doing any sort of like even workshops and stuff. I'm constantly like worried about the like how it works out with the live with the time zone difference, which was cooler here. It's been so cold. Like, so we had super hot days these entire past few days for our move. It was like 31 degrees. I don't know what that is in American. I think like 100, but it was hot, like way too hot. And now it's been nothing but raining for the past few days, and I'm getting very like vibes, which I'm loving, except for the fact that we are on solar panels. Like, our hot water is connected to solar panels. So we didn't have hot water today, so I took a cold shower today, but that's fine. Wearing a sweater too. We're neighbors again. Yes, I feel like, I wonder, is it nice where you are, or is it like it was so rainy in the north as well. Like, obviously we were on the other side, like you're here, we were there, but it was rainy. Namaste. Hello. How are you, fellow hereditary animist witch sister? Welcome back. Thank you. That's quite the name. I almost feel like Daenerys Targaryen. But thank you. I'm really, really excited to be back. Don't be nervous. You have a lovely community. Thank you. That is true. I feel like in terms of community, I feel like people are just really sweet and really genuine. And I feel like that's really beautiful. Like, it's very like, we're all just, humans doing our thing. So I really appreciate that. I feel like I've seen other people, not necessarily in the witchcraft community, but just in general, like other communities where people, they can be difficult. Let's just say that. Is this a Q&A? We can make it one. You're welcome to ask questions. I'm just hanging around. So just, if you have a question, go for it. It depends obviously on the style of question, but I'm pretty open. So excited to see you live. I'm in the US Pacific time and I just woke up. Hello. Yeah, I think the US Pacific is very early. I know Leah, the redheaded, which is in Pacific Northwest, and it's always like the time zone difference is always so insane. It's 12 p.m. in Nebraska right now, just hit lunchtime. Well, I hope you have a good lunch in case you're having a lunch. By the way, that reminds me, I actually made myself a coffee. I need to show you my mug. This is a mug I have since I'm like a child. So my mom has kept it since I'm a little kid. And yes, I'm drinking coffee in the afternoon because I'm European, I guess. I love the rain, so I'm obsessed with it, and it's calming energy. That's true. And like we have these windows here. I can't show you right now, but I just filmed altar tour, so you'll see the windows then, and the rain hits it so beautifully, and it's just like the most beautiful vibes. Moin from Flensburg. Moin, moin, moin. I know you don't actually say moin, moin, but it's the ongoing joke, isn't it? Namaste, Tade. Yes, it is. Hello again to everyone joining. I see a couple of more people joining. It's been really nice here in Houston last 2 days, 28 degrees Celsius. I appreciate you putting that in Celsius. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been here. Hold on, let me check. It's been, oh gosh, let me check. It's 14 degrees here in Celsius. So let me quickly convert that to Fahrenheit. It is 55, 57, 55 right now in Fahrenheit. So it's not super cold by any means, but like it's August, right? You'd expect a little higher, I suppose, but yeah. Hold on, it's not that cold yet, but just a bit gloomy, if that's the right word. Cloudy and not summerish anymore, but not autumnal either. Oh, I can't explain. No, same here. It almost feels like April weather. It's like, what is this? Well, I will say though, a few of the leaves have already started turning orange, though I'm not sure if that's because of the heat that we had. So I guess we'll see. Hello, congratulations on the move. Thank you. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee real quick. This is instant coffee, by the way, because I was too lazy to brew any kind of coffee. Leah would be disappointed with me right now. Hurricane season in the United States, big one hitting Florida today. Oh gosh, I hope you're gonna be safe and sound and everything. I've never experienced a hurricane or any kind of like something like that, but it always looks incredibly scary. So stay inside, and I hope you stay safe. Thank you so much for your stuff, sweet little. Was that for me? Did I answer something? I'm not sure. I've lost track. I'm a late riser. This 10 a.m. Well, sometimes you just need to like sleep it out. I think at the moment we've been waking up so early because there's a cockerel outside or like a rooster. And Hannah, my one friend, she once got so because I said cock instead of rooster. She's like, hello. But yeah. We have a rooster just outside here, and he is an early bird, literally. He wakes us up at like 5 in the morning, but you get used to it. It's like, in the city, you have like people that are like screaming and yelling in the middle of the night, or like there's, city life, I suppose. Here you've got the roosters. Let me just scroll back here. Thank you for your channel. It's really helped me to start a practice. Thank you. I honestly always never know what to reply in these cases. Also, this is my heel poofy. I never know what to reply in these cases because I'm always like, oh my gosh, because it's honestly quite not a responsibility, but like, in my opinion, or for me, let's say it's a big deal that I have any sort of like that I've helped you with something as important as like your spiritual belief system, for example. So thank you. It always means a lot to me, and I never know what to properly answer without it being like super awkward. Are you excited about doing folk magic in your new location? I love folklore from Germany so much. So that forest out there, I'm gonna turn you just for a second. By the way, I forgot to plug you in. Give me 1 second. So I don't know if you can see, but where is it? This school here. I actually found this school just outside the forest, right where we are. It's our morning walk, and we've got this beautiful creek there. And maybe I should turn on the light. Give me a moment. But yeah, I'm super excited. Aha! Ha! That's much better. Now I have like backlight, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm super excited to finally like be here and actually connect with the things that I make content about, basically, right? Like, I mean, Latvia has a lot of its own folklore, but because I'm not Latvian, I always felt a little bit like, ooh, I don't know, if I wanted to make like educational content about it, because quite frankly, I don't know that much about it. I would have to go through like my fiance, you know, and so I'm definitely excited to actually be here now, be back at home. This is our old house. So we have had this house for, I want to say 10 years, not me, but like my family. And so we just moved back in because we lived here. I was in university in Latvia, and my family was here in this house. And then I came back here right before we moved to New Zealand. And now we're back here again because New Zealand obviously didn't quite work out. I really love your content. Thanks for sharing. Greetings from Wiesbaden. Thank you. Dankeschön. Freut mich. Yeah, that's the next thing. German content. If I ever should do German content or not, I don't know. I'm so ready for it. I'm so happy to have my birthday and my favorite season. Me too. I am so excited for November. We're drinking coffee too. There you go. Cheers. Here, hold on. I'll give you a cheers. Cheers. Back to school tomorrow. Oh, I hope you have a good school start. I feel like school has been, it's not that long. Well, I guess it depends. I've not been in school for many years, I suppose, at this point. I graduated high school 2016, if that's any, like, you know. I love coffee too. Yes, hold on. Oh, I lost the chat. I drink it all day. Excited for pumpkin spice coffee for autumn. Me too. By the way, I'm gonna give my good friend Leah, the redheaded witch, a little shout out. She just announced their pumpkin spice take on coffee. So if you're looking for pumpkin spice and autumn syrups and coffee beans and stuff, check out Fullcraft Goods, or Fullcraft Coffee. So good. I found your book of spells in the public library and grateful was my introduction. Oh, thank you. Okay, first of all, it's kind of crazy that that was your introduction. Thank you. But I'm so glad that the public library has it too. I'm actually really curious if I'll find it here in the local library because it is English and obviously, you know, they probably don't have it. Though the German one is coming out in October. So that's fun. But I'm glad that public libraries are picking up these books. Like I remember back when I started Witchcraft 15 years ago, and they did not have like a lot of books at all. I think there was like a pendulum book, and then I think you had a couple of like Wicca books, of course, and that's how I started, considering that it was available. But yeah, I love the color you picked for the altar room. I want it in my home now, for real. It is, I think, thank you. If I may say so myself, I think it's such a good color, and I had two, and I don't know where they are right now. I had my little swatches. I think I have them in the altar. Let me scoot you over so you can see where I am and what I'm doing. I'm in pajamas, by the way. No. I have the swatches somewhere, but I cannot remember where anymore. But the first color that I initially had picked out was like on camera, like was beautiful in itself, but on camera, it suddenly turned gray. And I was like, well, that's not good. So I went with a more warm color. And I think that that is quite good on camera, I hope. Also, excuse my hair. I washed it today and I blow dried it and went all puffy. Oh my gosh, I'm missing all the chat. Let me scoot back here. While you may no longer identify as Wiccan, you were the channel that helped me introduce me to Wicca and its various paths. I'm officially an eclectic Wiccan since January 2022, and I thank you for it. Thank you! Oh my gosh! Okay, that means a lot to me. I feel like Wicca has such a special space or place in my heart. I know that there's a lot of discussions around Wicca, and I do plan on making a video on that at some point, like addressing it basically. And it's not that that was why I ever moved away from it, and I do still incorporate a fair amount of Wiccan things in my practice. It just wasn't like, I feel like folk magic was a better fit than Wicca, but I do still love Wicca, and I think that for all that it gave me, and I know a lot of other people, I still really very much appreciate it, and I'm glad that you know, that it works out for you. I think with Wicca, it's one of those that a lot of times people are introduced to witchcraft, the wider field of witchcraft, through Wicca, and some people obviously stay and some people don't. I will say, I think that as long as you're basically educating yourself on the more modern things, like for example, Thorn Mooney is an amazing author on the topic of Wicca if you want something that's a bit more modern and more contemporary, because a lot of the older books obviously kind of convolute Wicca with the wider witchcraft. And I think that's where a lot of people, including myself, I want to say, kind of came from when they were like, oh, I'm a Wiccan. And it was almost like, well, is there even a difference? Anyway, that's its whole own topic. But I'm glad that I was able to be part of your journey. So thank you. I have missed the puns. I'm a punny one. I'm sorry. Let me just scroll back here. Oh my lord. I can't like pin, not on pin, but like, because it keeps going down anyway. 10:10. All right, so it's 10:10 for you. Hey, and we have the Spökenkicker here. Hello, another German witch or creator, practitioner. I didn't want to just say witch just in case, but the Spökenkicker is an amazing person on YouTube as well. And if you are looking for German folk magic, they have really good videos. I know that you just did one on house spirits. It was house spirits, I believe, right? Or was it just spirits? Oh, I'm not sure anymore. But that one I have on my to watch because it looked really good. I'm really excited for that one. I'm really happy that you're back in Germany. Can't wait for the new content you'll make here. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like potentially I'll have to message you soon about a maybe collaboration, like North versus South or something like that. I think that could be quite fun. But yeah, greetings from Germany. To which city are you moving? So we are near Passau, which is super south. It's like if Munich is down here, then hold on. I guess this way. I'm doing it reverse. Then down here is Passau, and then there's the Austrian border. So we're right between Passau and Munich, basically. I don't want to dox myself, but yeah. So we're pretty south. Did your plans you took survive the move? Yes and no. So I took my belladonna, I took my henbane, and they made it. My poisonous plants made it. The ones that didn't make it were the St. John's wort. It's recuperating. It took a hit. Valerian, I think it took quite a hit. My Valerian really took a hit. My mullein took quite a hit. And my European or common sage, garden sage, that one is doing well again, but that one took a hit. The problem also was that in Poland I had a caterpillar infestation, and I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know an indoor plant could have a caterpillar infestation, but I had to pick off these caterpillars because I was like, what's happening? And then I look underneath the leaf and there's 5 caterpillars, not on one leaf, but the total plant. And I was like, oh gosh. But yes, thank you for asking. Love your space. Thank you. I might be the youngest person here. Oof, potentially. I'm not sure. I don't want to write the ages in here just because that might be a little bit iffy. And I don't want anything to potentially go into a weird direction. I'm really awkward about this. But yeah. Potentially. I know that some people watch my videos that are always a lot younger, and I do have on my Patreon not suitable for work, and then I always get those emails that are about oh, are you creating content that is potentially for example sexual in nature? I'm like, no, it's not what I do. I mean, not that there is an issue with that either. It's just that that's not my content, but it's the fact that I do have poisonous plant content, for example, and so I'm always a little bit like, ooh. But yeah, it's amazing you're back in your old home. That's so special, definitely. And this house was built in 1770, so it's old. It's really old. There's a wall here. One of our main walls is stone. It's not even brick, it's stone. And so you are not allowed to hammer through it because it's a supporting wall. But because it's made out of stone, if you open one part, the way that they're like laid on top of each other, it's not very sturdy. So the entire thing might collapse. So yeah, let me knock on wood. But yeah, you seem to move around a lot. Are you in the army? LOL. Blessings from Devon. Oh, I really want to visit Devon again. Or not again, but like I want to visit Devon. I've been close to it. But actually, I am in the, or well, I'm not anymore. My stepdad is in the army, so we have always moved around a lot, yes. And then just for personal, like trying things out, I guess, we tried a couple of different places and see what stuck. But yes, it's been an involuntary amount of moves, I will say. Curious, do you have many house spirits since the house has been in your family for a while? I would say yes. I think we have a couple of spirits, especially because this is such an old house. You definitely get an energy here that is really, really interesting. And I definitely have, I mean, we just moved. I think the last 2 days have been the first few days that we're like settled in and we're not working or painting or doing something. So quite frankly, I haven't been able to do a whole lot in terms of like tapping in to the spirits that are here. But I feel like I have felt them, and I have immediately, like the moment we stepped in, I introduced myself basically, which it's always interesting talking about this because there's a level of like you almost feel a little bit silly. But to me, at least, a lot of my spirit introduction and even my, day to day is actually speaking out loud and saying, "Good morning, thank you, I'm here now, my name is Ella," like introducing myself that way. But I know that sometimes when you actually say it out loud, where you're like, "Oh, just talk to your spirits." Like, I think some people are like, what? Because they think it's much more mystical. But in my opinion, a lot of spirit communication is not that, like, a level of it is, of course, mystical. But I think a lot of it is very mundane too. Like, just taking care of the house is one way to immediately be like, I take care of this home, I take care of you, Let me just scroll here. Thank you. I lost half my friends. Oof, but IG books won't betray. Well, I'm really sorry that you've lost half your friends, but hopefully you'll be okay. I feel like sometimes with friends, the real ones stick around. I don't obviously want to make any sort of judgment. I don't know your particular situation, but I hope you're doing well. Do you have any plans for another book in the works? I love Book of Spells. 1,000 thank yous. Thank you. So there's nothing in the works right now officially or anything like that, and nothing really unofficially. I've got ideas, and I've kind of got my phone notes where I jot everything down whenever I have an idea. But it's nothing like, I haven't communicated at all with my publisher about this or anything. So it's just me kind of thinking about topics and thinking about, I do have a topic, and I have potential titles that I just kind of, jotted down, but I've not written anything yet. I think I've got like, it's like a blank document at the moment. So that's it. But yeah. I'm excited for autumn because I'm planning to combine a birthday Samhain gathering in late October, and I can't wait. Never had a Sabbath gathering, so I'm super hyped. Oh my gosh, okay, that sounds so exciting. First of all, I feel like having a Sabbath gathering, especially the first one, is one that's going to really stick with you for a long time. Like, it's going to be a core memory. So I'm really excited for you. So, oh my gosh, I just see 50 sec. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Does that mean that you just sent me? I don't know how YouTube works. Does that mean that you sent me money? Because if that is the case, thank you. Let me just scroll. it should be nice if you have some protection chance to share. For my own inspiration, keep sharing and have a nice day. Thank you. I actually have this month planned a protection video for YouTube. So it's going to be all about like when you move to a new house, or if you just want to reset basically and start over, how to do like a protection ritual and like a couple of things that you can do that are both like mundane and more spiritual too. But yeah, thank you again so much. This is like wild to me that you can even send money on YouTube. I know that you could in theory. It was never in my mind. Let me just quickly scroll back to the other questions. Oh, requesting at my library too. Yeah, I feel like if you requested at your library, that's probably a really good and affordable way, because I know some people were like, ooh, the price, which I have no control over, by the way. I would just like you to know. But I know that obviously library would be much more accessible. And like such a big part of the book for me was to make it accessible. And like I use a lot of grocery herb ingredients and things like that, and like things that are just more accessible. And yeah, but I'm glad that libraries are actually taking it. I started 5 years ago. Well, hello. I feel like that's a good, well, anything is a good time period. I was about to say, like, that's a good time period. But, like, I feel like at around 5 years, at least for me, was when I really started, like, moving into a different direction. I don't know if that's for anyone else. The only book my library has is Wikipedia. I've got that book. It's not my favorite. I don't want to like talk negatively about it. It's not my personal favorite, but you know, for some it could be an interesting starting point. Nevertheless, some people might still get something out of it. I think the one thing that I was confused by was that it included a lot of angel focused things, and I was like, angels in Wicca? Okay, that's new, but yeah. Oh my gosh, I agree. I visited the library last week and was so pleasantly surprised by the section about witchcraft, magic, occult, etc. growing exponentially. It really has. And I feel like it's becoming much more like mainstream too, where every bookstore is starting to have it. Whereas I feel like back 15 years ago, for example, it was so difficult to get your hands on anything that wasn't Wicca, obviously. Like I feel like Wicca was more like, oh yeah, you could find a Wicca book, maybe, you know, but nowadays you actually get like so many good books, in my opinion, in just local bookstores. I love that. My grandfather is from Germany, and now that I've begun to practice more, are there any German folk magic books, items you'd recommend? I'd love to try and connect more with my ancestors there. So I have a book recommendation reel on my Instagram. If you scroll, you should find it. It says like 5 books for like 5 German books, I think. In terms of books about German folk magic that are in English, that's more difficult. I will make a YouTube video on that though. But I feel like items you'd recommend, I think honestly a lot of the items are things that are like from your local region, like specifically, for example. That way I think you connect better, and it's a better starting point to figure out kind of where you and your ancestry is more so from. So in my opinion, I think the best starting point would actually be having a look at a map, and either with like actual physical thumbnails, is it called a thumbnail? You know, the like little tiny nails, the colorful ones, to either poke like, oh, this is where they're from, because then you can kind of figure out like the regions, and then you can look into the history of that and what the folklore of that region is, or even just on Google Maps, you can do the same thing. That's really good. I just wanted to ask, what is your hair secret? Thank you. I use, what is it called? Is it Garnier Fructis? You know the bottles that look like smoothie? They've got like banana or aloe vera and stuff on there, and it even has like a do not drink warning. I use that in the conditioner with it. But thank you. Ella, I ordered my coffee from Leah, the Redheaded Witch, at Full Craft Goods and the serves and coffee mugs. Everyone, please check it out. Great coffee. Their mugs especially, I am obsessed with. Like, they don't do international, unfortunately, yet. It's not necessarily a decision that, you know, is up to people a lot of times. Like for our shops, international, it's very hard to do because of like shipping companies, obviously. But if you are in the US, definitely check her out and check out their coffee and like the mugs, especially. They're so good. Do you have any thoughts on digital grimoires? If so, any recommendations on apps or programs? Yeah, I love them. So what I do, I'll just get you my phone real quick, is I use the Notes app. So if you, oh, I don't know if you can see anything except for like super light white dots. So I just go on Notes, and then I have in the folder. Can you see anything? Probably not. I'm sorry. There. Here we go. Folders. Right there, I have Book of Shadows. And then in Book of Shadows, can you see? Can you see? Here we go. I have ancestral lore, basics, divination, German folklore, occurrences, which is whenever I have something that is like, ooh, like interesting, that is like really significant. I write that down there. Plant lore, dreams, and art. The dream one, it goes back to 2019, which is every morning I record my dreams, and I love it because you can do voice to text, and it's so easy. And I just love it. I think it's so nice and convenient. Other than that, I suppose just Google Docs would probably be a good one. I don't think you need an app for it. I don't think you need to, like, unless you want to. I don't think there's any necessity to like specifically get a different app for it. I think Notes works absolutely fine. Will you go on live on Instagram again soon as well? Definitely. I feel like I just want to try out YouTube first, and I do want to check out Instagram as well, but Instagram, the messages go so quick. So YouTube is like a starting point. I love their content so much. Leah's? Yes, I adore Leah's content. I am Polish. Hold on. I should know this. Dzień dobry? Dzień dobry? Is that dzień dobry, right? Is hello, or is that thank you? I can never remember. I'm sorry. We were just in Poland for 3 months, and I cannot remember. Dziękuję is thank you, and dzień dobry is hello. Yes, there you go. There you go. That potential collab sounds really interesting. I know so little about South German folk magic, so I'd love to chat with you about that. Definitely. I feel like I still need to settle in a little bit more, but I do think that would be a very interesting collab as well. Also, just because you reminded me, because you were our first guest, obviously, I definitely need to like talk to Neve again about doing our podcast, because we did 2 episodes. So I definitely need to set that up again with her too. I love seeing the transformation of that wall. No, me too. This entire wall, I'm so glad that we were able to fix it the way we did. But yeah, that was intense. And it was Carlos and my stepdad that did that. So I'm very proud of them. Thank you to them. Let me just scroll again. I wish there would be more German witches. I know of 4 and none live close to me, even though I live in the south as well. Ooh, okay. So I know a couple. I might have to do a video where I talk about German folk magic, and I'll just recommend all the people that I know that are German. Obviously, we've got Bex, so the Witch's Cookery. Amazing. She's also in Bavaria, though I think she is more in like the more northern region of Bavaria. And then in the south, it's really difficult. The ones that I can absolutely immediately think of is the Spökenkicker, who is in the north. Then Bente, the Norse witch, also in the north, as you may have guessed from the name. They are also amazing, though. Bex is in the south. And then there is a couple ones on Instagram that I love their content. But Donna Gesang, for example, is one. I love her content, though it's not necessarily an educational account, but beautiful content nonetheless. But yeah, I feel like more and more people are popping up, though, in like the German witch community. It's just going to take a while. My house holds no spirits as far as I'm aware, but I'm starting to believe that my cat sees fairies. That, or she's a bit cuckoo, chasing invisible creatures. That might be fairies or some kind of spirit. I always feel like if you feel like nothing is going on, it might be because they're slumbering. And so if you actually tap into like talking or communicating, some spirits truly are dormant, because it's one of those, they've been forgotten for so long that they have kind of gone back into their own sort of world, and you might stumble upon them and you are able to a level, I guess, wake them up. I don't know if that's the right terminology, really. It's probably really not. but you're able to tap into that. And I think with time, and there's also a little bit of folklore where you kind of the spirits are sort of tied to you feeding them. I know that that is the case, especially in, I think it is the Domovoi, which is Russian, which I'm not sure if it is Greater Slavic or just Russian. But that one also, I'm pretty sure, is contingent upon you actually feeding it, and it's staying and becoming more active with time. So that's a possibility for you to try out. When I was small, I loved fairy tales. It was my leap into paganism. Do you have a favorite? Oh, okay. I love that question. So in Germany, actually, on Sunday, there's fairy tales on the TV. So, for example, if you turn on the TV, most, or not most, but many channels will show fairy tales, like different Grimm stories or Hans Christian Andersen, and all those stories, like filmed out, and or cartoons sometimes as well, depending on what channel. And I love them. I do think, obviously, Frau Holle has a special place in my heart for obvious reasons. I think I actually have to think which other ones I really like. I think there's a couple that I very much enjoy, just because of, like, for example, the folklore. I think the only one that really immediately comes to mind is Frau Holle, which I think is Mother Holle in English. But tell me what your favorite fairy tale is. I do love talking about fairy tales. Let me just scroll up again. Is your book on Amazon? If so, adding it to my Yule list. It is, yes. So Amazon is one of the places that you can get my book. It's in English, in Spanish, and it's coming out in German in October. But you can already pre-order it in German. My entire family is from Friesland, Frisia, and I would love to know if they had any witchcraft-related history and how I can connect to that part of the Netherlands, even though I live 1.5 hours away. Oh, I think Bente might be able to help you with that. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that, oh, I'm not sure actually. I think Bente kind of taps into a little bit of Netherlands every once in a while in their content, so you might be able to either comment on one of their posts on Instagram, for example, or on their YouTube, because they also have an Instagram and YouTube as well, also the Norse Witch. But I think that that might be one. And then I know Donna Gesang is the other one that I think also. I don't want to wear, but I didn't realize how much I've missed this. No same, no same. I think my coffee's going cold though, so that's one thing. But I have really missed this, just chatting and stuff. I was very nervous with this one though. That's an amazing idea for the voice recording dreams. Thank you. You're welcome. I cannot write things down in the morning, and so being able to voice record them is such a help. When I click the DK link to your book, I only get a white page. Oh, that's not good. Okay, thank you for bringing that to my attention, and I'll look into it. I always hesitate with putting like an Amazon link because I know not everyone likes to go through with Amazon, for example. So alternatives, for example, are bookdepository.com, and they also do international shipping, and I believe it is free. So that's an alternative, and they also have my book. But I'll definitely have a look at the link and figure that out. Excuse me, Miss Ella, but I thank you. Would really like to know, how did you get into animist witchcraft? I mean, did you get your calling as a child? I like that question. Yeah, so I grew up in a very sort of spiritual, curious, a little bit of folk magic esque family as it is. So especially with spirits, we have so many spirit and ghost. Well, I don't want to say ghost, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not that type of ghost. It's like, ghost stories basically, right? So I've always been into that sort of direction as it is, and I was very lucky that my family was very like helpful in that regard and very supportive. They never were like, no, that's not real, or they never basically like killed my fantasy, let's say. That sounds horrible, but I hope you know what I mean. And then animism, I think that was really, I've always been animistic. I just didn't know the term for it until I studied anthropology in university. But well, I guess, yeah, around that time, that's when I really was like, oh, that's what it is. But I've always had a knack for just being out in the forest. We always grew up, or I always grew up, we always lived near nature and forest and things like that. And there was this one big spooky, well, it wasn't spooky, it was a section that was really spooky, a forest, and I would always play out there, and I always had a very vivid imagination of having like my invisible friend and my invisible horse. I always had an invisible horse that would always go with me everywhere I went. And I think I just kind of, yeah, grew up with it very much. I think it was just that. I think, to be honest with you, it probably also was an age where it was popular anyway, like witchy things, like Baby Blocksberg was very popular, Charmed was popular. Baby Blocksberg is a German cartoon, by the way. And then you had Baby Blocksberg and Elia Luanda, and like Baby Blocksberg and Tina, Tina V, I don't know, I forgot her last name, but Baby and Tina, basically. So it was a very good time, I think, for witchcraft in general. You had craft, Charmed, of course, and practical magic. So I guess I just got lucky. Let me just, oh Lord, questions. I'm very new to witchcraft, only started learning about a month ago, but I've already watched so many of your videos. Thank you! That means a lot. I feel like with content, there's so many amazing creators, especially. Like if you go down to my channel, I have like other channels that I recommend, though I probably need to update that. But there's a couple of other channels that I think are amazing, so if you need more inspiration, check those out too. I love YouTube live streams. They're so much better than Instagram. You're doing a great job interacting with everyone in the chat. Would love to see you do more. And collabs too. Thank you. Yeah, I think collabs is going to be my 2024, the year of collabs. So I want to see if I can do more collabs because I feel like they're so fun to watch. Like I love watching them. Like Ivy the Occultist does a lot of collabs and I always love watching them. So that's another creator for you to check out, by the way. Super amazing content as well. But yeah, I think the live stream on YouTube is more interactive too, because I feel like on Instagram it's just like it's so much. And it's hard to scroll back, Yes, I know Bex as well. She was my first witchy YouTube friend, but around the Bodensee area, I know of no one. Ooh, yeah, I have a Discord. If you go on any of my videos, I think the reason was I have a Discord link or even my Instagram. You could always message into the Discord and be like, hey, anyone in the wider area, don't dox yourself, don't put your address, but the wider area that is, around, and then see if something comes up. It's a small Discord though, so just but who knows. Thank you. I'm from the northern part of Germany as well. There we go. So Donna Gesang is actually in the chat. Hello. Yeah, definitely check them out on Instagram. Beautiful content and really good book recommendations. I already got a couple of book recommendations. I'm not sure if you ever want to post about the book recommendations because but if you ever do, really good book recommendations. Let me just scroll again. I keep losing the chat. I told my friend to come and watch. Thank you. That's very sweet. I would love to connect more about German folk magic with fellow German witches. All the books I have about German folk magic are even written in the local dialect. It's exhausting sometimes. Oh yeah, I get you. I feel like a lot of the old books, especially, are written in the old Fraktur, in the old German type of lettering, and that is exhausting. You can read it, and a lot of Germans, I think, are still able to read it. But it's so exhausting. I can only ever read a few pages because it's just more, I guess you just need to concentrate more. And so your brain just gets more tired. Hänsel and Gretel, it's so spooky. Okay, I actually love Hänsel and Gretel. And I think that I would love to talk about it in an episode with Neve, my friend that we're doing the podcast with. Because I feel like there's a lot of folklore in that one. I think it's really interesting and fascinating. Thanks for answering my question about Friesland. What's her Instagram name? I could DM you as well about this. Oh yeah, you could, of course. Yeah. So Esther, you can always DM me about this and I can just send you everyone I know. But I might have to do an entire post about, or how on Instagram you can do, what is it called? Collections or something not collections. There's that little tab on the profile that has it looks like a little book and you can save a bunch of posts into that. It's not a collection, it's public. So I might just put all the German people in there as a recommendation. A few months back, I discovered my biological father was from the former Yugoslavia. I don't speak the language and finding it hard to find any Balkan witchy content. Yeah, I actually had a question, maybe it was actually you, that was about if there's any Balkan creators that I know of. And I honestly don't. I know some Slavic ones, but I don't know Balkan at all. Baltic, I know as well, not to be confused with Balkan, of course. But Balkan, it's really hard for me to think of anyone. So unless I'm completely blanking out, I'm sure there is, because there's so much folklore. If you look at, for example, like Romanian and Hungarian. I mean, Hungarian is Finno-Ugric, but obviously it's still that general area as well. And so I've seen beautiful posts. There's one that is, I think, called Masked Traditions on Instagram. And here, hold on, let me just find it real quick for you. Masked Traditions. So masked and then traditions, and they do content, but I'm not entirely sure right now where exactly they are based. Masked Traditions, they are Portugal, they've got some, but I know they've also got Bulgaria, for example. Yeah, Bulgaria again, another Bulgaria, Banist. Yeah, so they are amazing. I will just have, the phone. Whoop, here you go. And they do a bunch of these beautiful posts showcasing like traditional folk costumes that are like masks and things like that. And maybe if you go on their following / their followers, you might be able to find your way through there. I love Sabrina, the real life series, let's say the original. Yes, Sabrina as well. I also always loved. I had my qualms with the new Netflix show, but that's neither here nor there. I watched Baby Blocksberg, the Polish version. There's a Polish version? Oh my god, I didn't know that. That's actually really cool. Even the way that you write it is really interesting, because Blocksberg, the German one, is the mountain, the Harz mountain, which is where the witches' Sabbath happens, where you've got so much folklore about, of course, meeting and converging with the devil, and all of the Sabbath lore is like very centric on that specific region. And so I kind of love that Baby Blocksberg has like a tiny bit of folklore in there too. I love collabs, me too, but I'm so nervous to message people because, okay, here's the honest truth. My views right now are really low because I have not been consistent at all. And so I'm nervous to message people and be like, hi, would you like to collab with me? Because I'm worried that they'll be like, with you? No, So I'm a little bit nervous about messaging people to collab, but I'm sure with time I'll get over myself and I'll just ask. But yes, joined as Mandrake on Patreon. Excited for Discord and even more content. Thank you so much. Oh, I love that. I'm actually really behind on Patreon. I'm gonna be super honest here with you because of the move. So I'm behind, but I'm still gonna post everything that was supposed to be posted in August. It's coming. It's just late. I'm really sorry about that. You're just like us, that entire long title. Yes, thank you. I love it. Someone who is just like us. Thank you, I suppose. Miss Ella, we're glad to have you as our sister. Thank you. I do think it is a really nice community, and I do think it's a wonderful way to connect with other people and like just share what people are on about. Maybe I will do some book reviews and educational posts about the folk magic I practice in the near future. I have many ideas, but not so much time at the moment. I think you would be very good at it. Like the posts that you do are beautiful. And I will say Instagram does push aesthetic posts because obviously people consume it with their eyes, right? So I do think you'd be very good at it. I think it would do well. But obviously it depends on if you have the time and if you have the like headspace for it or like spoons or whatever. Hänsel and Gretel is so creepy. It is. I think, okay, so I feel like there's a lot of hearth lore, like the fireplace is a big one. And then there's a couple of things that I think are quite interesting with the lore with Hänsel and Gretel. So I do think we have to do a deep dive on that one. Der Teufel mit den 3 goldenen Haaren is a very interesting fairy tale too. Some people believe the grandma might be Frau Holle. I know that one. I know I do. I think, hold on. Der Teufel mit den 3 goldenen Haaren. Either that reminds me of something else, or I'm pretty sure it was this one that I have seen I've seen the movie of it. But there's so much folklore in the Grimm fairy tales. I know that some people have their qualms with the Brother Grimm because they're like, oh, they changed the folklore. And it's like, yes, you have to keep in mind, though, that they preserved a lot of the folk tales in a very Christian time. And whilst it's not ideal, at least we have something left. So personally, I appreciate the Grimm brothers a lot. But yeah, it's one of those like some people go this way, some people go that way. I don't know. In Poland, there is a witches mountain in Poland. I've heard that. I have heard that as well. That there's a very like famous one in Poland, as a matter of fact. But yeah, there is a witches mountain in every country. That's true. Most countries, I know, is it Spain or Portugal? They had a very large, like famous one as well. Let's say that I've read about. But the Poland one I've also read about in one of the books. I'm not sure which one it was. I think it might have been Kelden's The Witch's Sabbath, where he mentioned the Polish one. My whole life back, black cats have been in my life. Even when I wasn't searching for one, they have always entered my life when needed. Always black without intention. I'm blessed with the love of black. No, me too. I have had, so we've always had black animals. To be honest with you, unfortunately, black animals get really bad treatment, either in shelters or they just don't get picked up, they don't get adopted. People, unfortunately, are very cruel towards black animals. It's a really, really anyone else here, for example, consider a black animal. They don't get enough love, and they deserve all the same love. But it's really special that you've always gotten a black cat in your life. I love that. Then the mountains. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm not sure if you would have bogs then, because it's either a bog, like a moor, or it is, of course, or like the grove or a mountain. So it's always one of those three that every country and region is like witchcraft lore. I'm watching for the first time from Canada. Hello! Nice to have you here. Welcome. In case you're wondering why I'm a little bit nervous, it's because I am nervous and I'm also drinking coffee. So I'm very high energy right now. I'm like all over the place. But yes, hello. Nice to have you here. Sorry, I missed the messages. I remember Grimbrother 2. You caught me there. I'm not quite sure what you mean with the caught you there. Oh, I think that was in response to Esther. There you go. But the I love the Grimm brothers. I have a really nice big version of them. I will get it for you. I have a really nice big version. Where is it? Oh, it's like down here. No, I can't get it for you. It's covered by other books, but if I sit back, it is that one there. And that was not that expensive. I think it was like 10 euros on Amazon, and it's the complete collection with gold foil. So if you're looking for a copy of it, it's beautiful. It has illustrations too. Let me quickly read here. I want a British short hair and a black hat called Salem. Okay, I love that. That's cute. It's amazing. Simsalakrim. Yes, okay, so I know Simsalakrim. We actually recently, I think they have it on Amazon Prime because I recently watched it. It's a little blue creature and a little like orange creature, and they do all of the Grimm stories. I loved that show as well growing up. And lots of people would love to collab with you. I have the occultist Olivia or two that I think would welcome a collab with you. Well, I really would love to. I think those are two creators that I really look up to, and so I might have to be like, hi. But we'll see. We'll see what the future brings us, right? But yeah, it's a lot of amazing creators out there. And I think if I kind of wanted to start this on Patreon, where it's like a little bit of like a spotlight for other creators or other people that I think deserve more limelight, or that I just would like to like interview, or that I think have like an interesting practice, or just in general, for community. And I think it would maybe do well on YouTube as well. The only thing is, as you maybe can tell, this camera is really bad. Like, I'm very pixelated. And so I might have to invest in like a little camera and see if I can do a collab that is like not the quality of a potato. Um, but yeah, I have my Frigga altar at my fireplaces. She is hearth deity. A friend on Facebook said that was weird. I don't think so. What's your take, please? LOL. I think you do whatever you think is like good for that deity. I feel like there's always that sort of like, no, but you can't do that because this book said so or that person said so. And in my opinion, if you're working with that deity and that deity is basically showing up in a certain way for you, like who are you to doubt the deity? In my opinion, obviously a little bit of concernment is always, good. Like you always need to be, using a grain of salt, and you always need to like not forget your own your own logic and your own sense and stuff like that as well. But personally, I feel like Frigga would be good for the hearth. I mean, I do think she has that sort of hearth and home energy as well. I know that she is an epithet also of epithet of Holda as well, or Holle, who also is a hearth goddess. And there's a couple of like very like motherly figures, let's say, that tend to, not always, of course, but a lot of them do have a hearth association as well. I'm wrong with it. I think you do you. I think if it's working for you, and if your goddess is, seems happy, then I don't see why not. Do you have Handbuch des deutschen Aberglaubens too? No, but that sounds interesting. I'm gonna write that down. Let me write that down real quick. Handbuch des deutschen Glaubens. Deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache. But yeah, thank you for the recommendation. I always am looking for like recommendations, especially for like German folklore and folk magic. I look up to every creator of witchcraft. I want to start a channel. Definitely do. I feel like the more the merrier. I think, there's always that sort of like intimidatedness that I know that some people have with creating a channel. I think you should just go for it. And that's how all of us started, to be honest. Like all of us just kind of went for it, You got to start somewhere. Are you going to be organizing a Sabbath celebration in 2024? I remember you were planning on something like that. I would love to join. So at the moment, it's too early to say. We haven't done any actual planning anymore. We did want to obviously do the one in Latvia, and then we sort of spontaneously decided to move. And when I say spontaneously, it literally was, I think we have to move this weekend. So we packed up and left. But I would love to do like a Sabbath, or not necessarily Sabbath, but like I would love to do a celebration, or some sort of like, like local here, potentially even here in our backyard, because we do have like a little hut. The only thing is I don't know how many people we can like potentially get in this location. So we might have to have a look at like renting a place or something like that, or finding a location. I would love to, but there's no plans at the moment. That's one of my favorite things about honoring deities in witchcraft, is the focus on trusting your intuition and the extension of yourself. As someone who had low self-esteem, it really helps me a lot. I absolutely agree, and I feel like you worded that very beautifully. I think sometimes we forget, I know that's something I have done myself too, is we almost focus too much on the books and not enough on our like experience and like actually engaging with the spirits. We read about them, but we don't actually like engage with them. And I think a lot can be learned from actually genuinely engaging with those spirits or with deities, for example. I would like to collaborate with Miss Ella one day. Yeah, I feel like, okay, so for collaborations, if you ever want to collaborate with me, I do have my business email in my YouTube information thingy. I don't know where that is. But it's somewhere. So you can always reach out to me as well for collaborations. It is a little bit busy at the moment, and I've had to put a couple of things on the back burner just because we just moved, and now we have to look for a job and like, the businessy stuff, I guess, or like bureaucratic stuff, whatever. But yeah, I do definitely want to do collaborations and things like that in the future for sure. Thinks every witch wants a room with a pentagram on the floor. Okay, so interestingly enough, so I have a big carpet on the floor here. Hold on, I'll show you. So I got this carpet. I was thinking if I could maybe get myself out of like a big large piece of cloth. I've seen someone have that. I cannot remember for the love of it who that person was, but I know someone had like a compass round cut out of like a foldable piece of cloth that they could then roll out. I think that's a good idea. Will you be selling crystals or will you be focusing on other things more with silver fern? We're doing both. So we're still doing crystals. So the good thing is that there's actually one miner that is like an hour from here. So we're going to be able to go there. We're going to be able to like see, you know, everything and pick everything. Hopefully, I hope at least. And obviously, then it's gonna be great because it's like directly from here. So I love that. And then obviously the Munich show is happening. And in case anyone wants to do a tiny little meetup, I'm actually gonna be at the Munich show this year on Friday. So that's the 27th of October. I'm gonna be at the Munich show. So I'm excited for that. And that is always great because you can meet the people. A lot of times it's the miners directly, and I love that. But I do want to start to also offering a few other things. So a couple of ointments, a couple of incense blends, and just things that I craft from like my herbs or like herbs in general. And yeah, when I grew up, I want to start a metaphysical shop. Yes, same. I would love a brick and mortar store one day. It's just something that is so difficult, especially right now with like inflation and stuff, right? But yeah, definitely. Definitely a good idea. And I wish you all the best. And hopefully, we both can fulfill our dreams. I'm gonna do a few more questions or messages, whatever you know, put out here, because it's already almost, yeah, it's already an hour. So I'm probably gonna slow it down and like maybe do 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. I'm holding one of the carnelians I got from you guys as we speak, the fiery orange one. Oh, I think I know which one you mean. Hoping you'll do beeswax candles too. We actually have a beekeeper in the village next to us, and we got, oh my gosh, okay, we went shopping yesterday. We got gummy bears that are sweetened with honey, like their own honey, and they have a bunch of things, like for example, beeswax. So any of my ointments, I want to use their local, because it's literally local. It's like 2 kilometers away from us. There's a beekeeper, and you can go and see the bees and everything, right? And I love that. So bee candles, I'm not too sure because I feel like that might be only for a later time because I don't want to be like, I'm gonna do this and this and this and this and this and this, you know, and then I'm just, it's too much. But maybe at some other time, or maybe I can wholesale shop bee wax candles from them. Maybe, I don't know, I'll have to talk to them. But yeah. Oh my, this is a sign. It is. It is indeed. This is amazing. I'm really enjoying. And now we're doing a little bit of ghosts. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Totally understandable. Yeah. I feel like that's the one thing. Sorry, I'm just getting comfortable here. I think that's the one thing that I sometimes struggle with is I have so many ideas and then I have a hard time executing them or sticking to them. Gossip. Oh, okay. Do we have gossip? Do you have any gossip? I'm like, oh, gossip is tricky. For obvious reasons, obviously. I did hear, I'm not sure if any, okay, this is like so random, but if any of you have heard the gossip, this is truly random. But the Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber gossip about them potentially getting a divorce soon, I find that interesting. Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's interesting. Other than that, I have no gossip for you, unfortunately. I'm not really. I try to stay out of it. I'm nosy. I'm not gonna like lie to you and say I'm not. Like I am definitely nosy sometimes when it comes to situations where I'll be like, what's going on here? But I just want to stay out of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I'll be a fly on the wall, but that's it. Do you have any tips or sources for beginner witches to overcome fears stemming from Christian baggage? Ooh, that's a good one. In terms of question, um, I never really had that, so that's the thing. I didn't grow up Christian. I did have a few years in the church, mind you, but I never really grew up with that. So unfortunately, I don't. Oh gosh, let me think. I'm not sure if I even can think of anyone right now that would kind of address that a little bit. Hmm. Perhaps Simply Witched, Hannah. So I know that she comes from a Christian background, so I think she might have some videos. If you check out her, she has a YouTube channel, an Instagram, and you might be able to also message her, for example, Simply Witched. And I think she might be able to help you out a little bit more than I am. Unfortunately, it's just not my field, let's say. I thought they just got married, or am I behind? I do not care about celebrities. They got married 5 years ago. So, but yes, it feels like it just was yesterday, right? I still remember when it was like, oh my God, they married. But yeah, they just got married. It's been 5 years now. So yeah. I do not care. No, I don't care either. I just sometimes get it on my Instagram feed and then I go into the rabbit hole, so I guess I do care a little bit in some ways, I suppose. I'm not sure if you answered this in the past already, so you can skip this question if you have, but what's your opinion on the Abrahamic religions and the concept of salvation? I don't want to get too much into this because this is a touchy topic. I will say I am not part of the Abrahamic religion because I'm not fond of the Abrahamic religions. Not necessarily that I don't respect them. I respect them. It's just not for me. It's just not my cup of tea. So yeah, the concept of salvation, I think there's an interesting level of it's an interesting relationship to have, in my opinion. But honestly, this is a huge YouTube worthy topic, or even a topic that would be worth talking to with a professor, for example. If I ever did a collaboration with a professor, that would be interesting. I think a lot of religions have some form of salvation. So even the Norse religion with Valhalla has something that kind of leans into that direction. I think you will find some form of, I don't mean directly, but some form of salvation in many cultures and in many ethnic religions as well. It just obviously shows up in different terms, and it obviously has been obviously the Abrahamic religions are the biggest religions. And so therefore they've kind of created, or it has become very, those have become very known for that. But yeah, I think I'm not going to go too much into it because, I don't want to touch on something that it takes a lot of nuance, and it takes a lot of wording it properly so you don't jumble over your words, which I currently am. I love how you put the pictures of your ancestors around your mirror. Thank you. Yes. So my other gallery wall, it was so random. I just stuck them up there, and this one I actually sorted them. But thank you. 5 years I am behind. No, me too. I feel like time flies. Time flies so much. I wonder if it could be possible if candles can be made from herbs. I guess you could infuse candles with herbs. Sorry, I'm not sure. Just had a tiny little coffee burp. I'm not sure if you could necessarily make them completely from plants. I guess you could in terms of soy candles obviously exist. But herbs, I'm not sure unless you infuse them. Let me quickly. Am I missing a message here? I see. What in specific are you scared of? I'm not sure. If what what that's relating to. I'm sorry. That was great input. Thank you. I'm glad I'm glad I was able to. But yeah. No, of course. It's not that I don't mind. I don't mind touchy subjects. It's just one of those things where I think you need to be very prepared, and I need to be able to formulate my sentences with a lot of thought so that I don't say something carelessly. You know what I mean? But yeah, finally made it to a live. Hello, welcome. I'm just about to close up, so I think I just said 5 more minutes. So I'm almost done. But I'll probably do more of them. I think it's quite fun, and I'll probably do themed ones, or I don't know, maybe just more hangout ones. Any tips on astral projection? I like the meditations that you can find on YouTube. I dabbled in that a little bit. It's not something that I do at the moment per se. I guess I do in the terms of I call it differently. I call it converging at the Sabbath. Spirit Flight, which I guess is very similar. So if you want to have a look at, for example, The Witch's Sabbath by Cauldron, that's a really good book. I'm going to get it out for you so you can see the cover. That one is a good book that I think has exercises that you might like. Let me find it for you 1 second. 1 second, 1 second. Crooked Path, The Witch's Sabbath. Here we go. Look, you stay. All right. This book here. This is The Witch's Sabbath by Cauldron. I'm trying to not have it glare too much. This is a good book. It has exercises on how to like have an out-of-body experience and how to like, you know, do that sort of thing. Let me just pop that back in here, otherwise I'll forget. I'm trying to keep this space clean. Actually, I'm going to put it on the altar. Also, do you like my pajamas? Do we have any more questions? Any tips for caring or showing appreciation for the house spirit ghost? Ooh, I like that. Okay, so first of all, the Spökenkika just has a YouTube video about, I think, German spirits, house spirits, I think it is. So check them out. As for caring or showing appreciation, there's a couple of books that I think are really good. There is, for example, Traditional Witchcraft by Gemma Gary that does touch upon house spirits. Gemma Gary in general, amazing. The Silent as the Trees, Silent as the Trees, Silent as the Trees, Silent as the Trees, has some on house spirit as well. I know that the Mandrake, for example, is one in German folk magic that was a house spirit, so you could look that up. I have a Patreon post about that too, I believe. Or maybe it was a Witchology magazine article. I'm not sure. But personally, I think taking care of a house spirit is taking care of your home in itself, and then also offering, for example, a designated space. So some people make a little box or like a little house. You could get like a doll house, for example, and then depends on the folklore. So some people, or some folklore, believe that the house spirit is in the hearth. So, in the fireplace. Some people believe that they are in the iron hangers that pots used to hang on, that the house spirit lives inside there. And it really just depends on the folklore that you're specifically like looking into. In Germany, you have like the kobold, for example. So kobold, let me just type that in here, kobold. Sometimes with a T, sometimes with a P. I say with a D, I think it's the more common one. You can look that up, for example, and then really get more into it. You might try Frankie for Christian background. True, Frankie, so Chaotic Witch Hunt, is amazing as well, and they do have a lot of content with Christian veneration as well, and because they are an Italian folk witch, and I believe they incorporate, or I don't believe, I've seen, they do a lot of content with Christian elements as well, and they might be able to also provide a little bit more information with having a Christian background or having any sort of Christian trauma. I'm not too sure exactly, but you can always try, I suppose. I need to grab your book soon and find a way to cleanse the energy because I feel it is really stagnant. Oh, really? Yeah, I have a couple of spells. One thing I love to do is create a floor wash. So when you're washing your floor, that has herbs in it. And like you infuse the herbs and then you take the herbs out, like you make tea basically for your floor, and that is really good for cleansing. You can do that. That's a nice one to, in my opinion, always helps really well. I'm getting that for you. Thank you. I already have a few videos ready for my channel. Perfect. Yeah, in my opinion, you should just go for it and see what comes out of it. I think with YouTube, the secret is consistency. If you post consistently, YouTube will reward you. It might take a while, but it will reward you, and don't lose hope. Just go for it, Simply Magical Living. Will this video be safe to watch later? Yeah, I will. I can save it. Why not? I can definitely save it. So, thank you. The floor cleansing tip. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap it up right about now, actually. So I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for spending your morning, lunch, evening, afternoon with me. And yeah, I'll do more live streams, I think, with time. I might even do collaborative ones if I am able to figure that out, which I did try the other month. It did work. Yeah. So, but thank you everyone again for being here. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you. And I hope you have a wonderful September that's coming up. That's kind of crazy. But yeah. So everyone's saying thank you and bye. Thank you as well, everyone. And I'll save this one for sure. But yeah, thank you again, everyone. May you walk with your gods. Bye.